In case you're tuning in late for any reason, you are now watching Politics, still on the weekend show. I remain Monday Thomas, and after an exciting time of sports, let's get to talk about some very important issues. And it's been a very disturbing week of political happenings, and as well as politics and governance is concerned, everyone will find this disturbing, and is, of course, increasing the concerns of the likelihood of the rights to life here in the country. I mean, it's a week where we've seen sentences, we've heard of kidnapping, we've heard of abduction, we've even heard of political crisis, and I'm talking about the PDP and their secretariat Meli. All right, joining us to make sense of the conversation is Honorable Angu Ogu. He's a political analyst, and also we have Dr. Moses, who is chairman candidate ADC, is going to make sense of the conversation this morning. But before then, I've got with me Roland. Roland, how are you doing? Good to see you once again.
Good to see you, Monday Thomas, from the stables of sport and now in politics.
All right, so I said it was a disturbing week. Was it disturbing for you as well?
Quite pathetic for a nation like Nigeria to be passing through this heap ups and downs in the present times, and it's quite disturbing that children are no longer safe in our schools and also in our place of worship.
All right, let's get the conversation. Good morning once again,
Good
gentlemen.
morning.
It's great to have you. You guys are looking
morning.
sharp.
Thank you.
You don't look like what you guys are going through in this country. That's
Following after your footsteps.
really. All right, now let's talk about the state of the nation. I mean, amidst all this happening, gruesome news we are getting, what do you think the state of the nation is currently as we are heading into 2026 and most probably the 2027 elections? Who's going first? It's to the floor. Anyone can have a bite of the cherry.
Well, for me, and it's important to, these are not things to take lightly. This has to do with our livelihoods, our lives, the stories that we're hearing, and the things that are going through, the hunger bites, the insecurity, the multiple taxations. You look at the transportation cost, young people, almost wallowing and getting into all kinds of stuff. The things that are happening, we have to look at it from the place of honesty. I, for one, especially because I'm running for Abuja Municipal Area Council chairmanship, I don't want to get into the politics where honesty does not become the fulcrum of what we do. I do not speak in terms of trying to attack reforms or policies or even government, because at the end of the day, whatever we say, when you talk about reforms, when you talk about security, livelihood, it carries a human face. The people that are being kidnapped are our brothers and sisters. The people that are going through hunger. In my phone, I have over 1,000 people asking for help in terms of medication. They're asking for daily food. They're asking for transportation. There are people who are homeless, people who are trying to pay their rent. This is what the reality of the issues are. And it's important to understand that at the end of the day, everything rises and falls on leadership. So you have to channel all of this to the place of leadership, whether you're talking about reforms. This is the reality of the situation that we found ourselves. Because who are you going to run to? You run back to leadership. Leadership, we seek to become leaders so that we can profile solutions to livelihood, to healthcare, to education, to security, to everything that revolves around our lives. That's why the constitutionality of whether a president or a governor or a chairman is to ensure that the livelihood, the property and lives of the people are secured. And this is why, again, back and forth, we're back to what? We're back to leadership. And that's why I'm running for an office, because I think that particularly in AMAC, that things can be a lot better. Reforms carry human faces.
All right, let's talk about the reforms of our current president, and I'm going to be speaking to you right now, Honorable Agu. In May 29th, and that was in his inaugural address in 2023, he made a statement. He made lots of statements. He talked about how he's going to remove fuel subsidy, and that was enacted within by a snap of a finger. He talked about unification of foreign exchange, and so far he's been getting praises for that. He also made a statement, and I quote, he said, "We are here to amend and heal the nation and not tear or injure it." That particular reform, are you feeling it? Have you seen it happen?
All right, thank you very much. The reforms are ongoing, and the benefits are not just for this particular generation, but for generations unborn. Over time, subsidy funds were stolen by a few, and the nation was left to bleed. But we now have a leader that said, look, subsidy is gone, and gone for good. Nigerians are feeling the chores of those pains. And like I said, or like Mr. President will always say himself, that we've been taken to the theater, right? And surgery is been taking place. And there will be pain. I know anesthesias will be administered to the patient. But there comes a time you still feel the pain of that surgery. So I believe that the reforms of the current government are making impact. No state governor is borrowing now to pay salaries or pensions. Almost all the state governors have enough money to pay for salaries and pension. And in different areas, as we can see, that these reforms are paying off. And to also say again that these reforms are about the future of this country. We are not going to eat the future of this country. We are going to plan. We are going to build for generations unborn. Before now, subsidy was being eaten by a present generation, and nothing was kept for the next generation. The issue of
so how are we sure something is being kept? I mean, the previous subsidy that was there, we don't know what was done with it. And according to you, you're saying it was taken away by the majority. Selected few. Now, how do we know that there is accountability with this current reforms? And we are not even talking about the taxation that is going to come next year.
Like I mentioned, state governors are paying salaries. We were here where state governors were borrowing to pay salaries. We were in a pit and we're still digging. No state governor will tell you now that, look, I'm borrowing to pay salaries. All right? The issue of the foreign, floating of the foreign currency of the FS market. Before now, the able man in Nnewi did not have access to the dollar to do his business. A selected few again were the ones benefiting from what the FS market. And like, give it to the emir of Kano, Alhaji Lamido Sanusi, former CBN governor. He said some individuals sit in their gardens and become rich, feeding fat from the FS market because they had access. And the real people, the manufacturers that needed this money, did not have access to the FS.
Okay, just like you have outlined some of these reform and the realities, how do we juxtapose that to the current realities of ordinary Nigerians? You said, just like the president said, we're in a theater. So how long is that going to take? Seeing the offspring of issues like insecurity, the rise in purchasing power. You talked about salary payment. But as it stands now, the purchasing power of those Nigerians with those salaries are not able to afford them all through the month because the salaries, minimum wage is there. Then we have the tax reform coming up. And in this particular time, insecurity, how do you now juxtapose the reforms and the current reality of ordinary Nigerians? Most of these Nigerians, they don't understand this language you're speaking.
All right, thank you very much. We are in a healing process. And every healing process is also painful.
2 years down the line?
2 years down the line, because this is a decay, the subsidy decay, the subsidy theft, the subsidy corruption that has been there for many years. So 2 years down the line, we are still in the healing process. So give it to the government that, look, something is being done. The manufacturers are able to access FX, right? Issues of security, going back to issues of security. There is no country on the face of the earth that is not facing his or her challenges. And as a public affairs analyst, I sit here to speak that, look, Mr. President, your job is cut out for you. Apart from the American rhetorics by the tweets by Mr. Trump, apart from that, your job is cut out for you. Go out there, deal with the terrorists, deal with the bandits. Nigerians want to see something happen. Right. Nigerians want to see that leadership is decisive, leadership is taking out these bandits, and we are seeing results. We want to see security return on our roads. We want to travel freely. So the job of the Nigerian leadership is cut out for them. They know what to do. They don't need any external interference to fix our country. We may collaborate here and there, but as a sovereignty, our leadership must begin to think. And ordinary Nigerians must understand that, look, this decay has been there for some time, and there is a healing process going on. And leadership expect, or should I say, deserve some level of patience from Nigeria. I know Nigerians are very impatient to say, look, we want things done, we want our hospitals working, we want our roads, we need electricity.
Well,
But
let's hear from
Nigeria
Moses.
deserves
let's hear from
the
Moses
leadership
for
deserves some
possibly
patience.
on a different opinion from
Okay.
from yours. I mean, you are aspiring to be AMAC chairman, representing the ADC. I mean, he's talking about Nigeria being in a healing process. Do you somehow have a feeling that if, let's say, the president, let's say APC wins the next elections, the presidency has more tenors to go. Do you have a feel that these political reforms will not get to produce the results that it's needed, the desired result to ameliorate the living conditions of Nigerians, to curb these insecurity challenges, to ensure that, like you said, that you have to take care of some people, and economic reforms to make things better? Do you have a feel that this, with the way the antecedent of this APC current ruling will proceed and things will not be done, the desired result will not be achieved until maybe Tinubu leaves office?
Well, one thing is certain, every national reform, however you put it, whether good, bad, ugly, it falls right squarely on the shoulders of ordinary people, market women, broadcasters, artisans, and people. And this is what you see. Reforms are not just about slogans. They are not just about political scorings. They are about food on the table. They are about communities that are secured. They are about children going to school and coming back safe. They are about policies and an environment that allows for people to do business. Scale it down to AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council. It does not exist in terms of performance, in terms of the relevance of these policies, which are supposed to be. Our children were out of school for months. And in inquiring, over 4 billion disappeared. Children right here in AMAC primary school were out of school. I'm fixing primary schools in Tunga Nasra and Tunga Madaki and other places where children here in AMAC, I'm not talking about Zamfara, Lagos, or other places, children are sitting on the floor. Children and staff have no toilet facilities. As an individual, I'm fixing places. Right here in Lugbe in Kapua, our uncles are being killed right here. People can barely go to work. Even to come to the studio here, I'm having to carry people who are working here because they can't manage. Our transport fares have more than tripled. These are the realities of what we're talking about. And for me, scaling down, because like I said, whatever you do in terms of, we should not become spectators in national conversations, but to become beneficiaries of policies at grassroots level.
Yeah.
This, as far as I'm concerned, there's no theater to safety. If you have a policy on security and the people are not safe, that reform is
So this
absolutely
reform is not
nonsense.
giving no glimmer of hope. So for you, no hope?
Security, a reform on security that does not profile safety. A reform on empowerment that does not put training for the welder, for the market woman. If you cannot open your shop, if in Abuja right now, shops are being closed down. We don't even know who is the AMAC chairman, because at the end of the day, it's not so much about even the president and the minister. Today, people don't even know the difference between the job of the minister is different from the job of the local government chairman. The local government chairman is the grassroots level. And I can tell you, the things we are talking about, the security of the people, the livelihood of the people, is squarely at this grassroots level. And if we cannot identify, and this is why, again, I'll tell you that I think we put so much focus at the national, because education is local, security is local, livelihood is local, healthcare is local. So if the welder cannot get tools to work, if children cannot be in a class, if you cannot go to work, where are the reforms and what are the policies about? It comes back to the grassroots level of the people, and this does not need to wait. So maybe I would say if things are not working, then the leaders or the president, some people should be accountable. And that's why for me it's an open governance system where transparency, accountability, holding squarely some people responsible. Maybe some people should be in jail. Maybe some people should be losing their jobs. Maybe somebody should be sacked for thousands and hundreds of people who are hungry, for people who are being kidnapped, for people who are dying right here in Amak, for all kinds of things that are going on. And I know, and I can tell you squarely, because Nigerians and people need to understand, because when confusion surrounds governance, when we don't have clarity on issue of nation building, then you see that people will not know who to hold responsible. And that's why for me in this conversation, it's so healthy, because let's scale it down. And I'm talking specifics, for example. I'm talking Abuja Municipal Area Council, the jurisdiction where we all live. And don't forget, the president lives here in Amak. The minister is in Amak. The National Assembly are all in Amak. Every human being, dead or alive, that is worth anything that has contributed to national development has something to do in Amak. All the diaspora and embassies, they're all in Amak. And yet we don't know who is the #1 chief security in Amak, which, not the minister or the president, is the chairman. Primary school are not under the minister, they're under what? The chairman. Livelihood, these basic things, sanitations. And this is what I will bring to the table: open governance, transparent system, where we can have accountability. A framework of security that allows for a dovetailing between, we live in the age of AI, deploy technology, dovetailing with vigilantes and traditional rulers in terms of security. And when you look at empowerment, we should be able to uplift our people. This is the most important geographical space in Nigeria, and yet all the things we're talking about are happening here.
Okay.
It will amaze you or interest you to know that I have gone to the fringes to help rescue people who have been kidnapped right here in the center of the country.
Okay.
This is not politics.
Okay. Yeah.
This is the reality of our lives. And the earlier we get people who can help into the places of command, the earlier we begin to recover and get back.
Those policy you're talking about, they should be human-driven.
It has to be human-driven.
Human-oriented.
Yes, because like my brother rightly said, we're in the theater, we agree.
Yeah.
But if the doctor is playing with your tools and he turns your tummy or your head into something else, that's why people die.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
Moses
thank you,
Paul
brother.
is saying that there are no improvements that is affecting the common man. If I'm, do you agree with that?
That will not be true. There are improvements that are affecting the common man. Agreed. He mentioned the issue of we getting to know our local government leadership. He agreed with me that the present Nigerian leadership is the first leadership that is also taking the bull by the horn in the area of local government autonomy. And if not that state governors stifled that process, by now would have had full local government autonomy. But I understand it became legal, they went to the Supreme Court and all of that, and I think they have also gone to do some, on the side, out of court settlement over that issue. But this present leadership have said, look, development should start from the cradle. Let's return back to the local government. It is because development is missing at the local government level. That is why we see this rural urban drift of the people. Everybody wanting to come to Abuja, everybody wanting to come to township. There are a lot of government programs going that are touching the young people. I work with students, and I know of the NER Fund, right? Where the government is paying billions, being confirmed by these students and the universities that are attending, that look, their school fees, their tuition, and whatever is being taken care of. And some of the students are even given pocket money. In the area of digital economy, the Digital Bridge Institute are training a lot of people. The Minister of Digital Economy, Brother Bosun, they are doing some positive things are happening. It's not just, I understand that we Nigerians just want to dwell on the negatives more. But a lot of positive things are happening in this country. All right. So some of those reforms, we will not see the benefits immediately. And I know that why a lot of people are not very positive is because of the media conditioning. Those that have been benefiting from...
I don't think you saying that it's a media conditioning. You live in Nigeria, just like he said, in FCT, in Abuja.
I am also not living in denial.
Yeah,
I've also said that, look,
to play the narrative that it's
Nigerians,
the media,
Nigerians
I don't think is a good perspective to take.
Nigerians are going through these reforms, painful reforms, right? I have not denied that, look, the reforms are not painful. The reforms are painful. But I've also stated that let the citizenry be patient with leadership. Because the decay leadership, the present leadership is trying to fix is a decay of many years. The issue I mentioned of local government autonomy, right? This is autonomy that have been taken over from local governments, where the funding for local government goes to the state decide what go to the local governments, which is very wrong. And the president, or this present leadership, is looking for a political solution, right? The issue of subsidy. Some persons did not give Nigerians fuel, but they were taking this subsidy. This fuel ended up in some neighboring countries, but they still wrote and claimed money for this fuel.
Okay, let's shift the conversation a bit. Now,
sorry, let me finish this thought. The government is saying, look, we are not going to pay any of you subsidy again. And what is happening? Like I said, these monies are plowed back to the state governors. We were here during the last government of late President Muhammadu Buhari, where governors were borrowing to pay salaries. But that is not the issue. So I want to say again that as citizens, we also have a responsibility not just to dwell on negatives. And we, the media people, you people of the fourth realm, should also try as much as possible not to dwell on the negatives. There are other positive things happening in this country. Young people are getting skills. Young people are acquiring skills through the ITF, through the ND. Young people are acquiring digital skills. So please, as citizens, let's be responsible citizens.
Yes,
let's do on the positives.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. That's a collaborative effort. Everybody has to put hands on deck. You talked about political solutions, and from the U.S. Congress that placed Nigeria as a country of particular concern, there's a recommendation that was raised that government needs to strengthen the institution. Now, if institutions are strengthened, do we need political solutions going forward? Because the political atmosphere changes over time. Why not we strengthen our institutions that can be sustainable over time. With that, I believe if our institution has strengthened, we will not be here. The issue he was talking about the AMAC student out of school, I believe our institution to be able to take care of that. Even the local government autonomy we're talking about, institution should take over that. Government come, government go, but institution remain. You talked about the FCT. So I want you to also to peep a light on the present issues of insecurity. And just this week, we heard about some of the demolitions that's happening around the FCT. What's your take about that in these present times of these insecurity issues?
You know, there was something he said that, and I think is one of the highlights and commendable effort by the Tinubu's administration, particularly to Mr. President, where he talked about the autonomy of the local governments. I mean, and that's why for me, this is beyond politics. I've been here for about 40 years. I went to primary school here. I have a PhD in environmental resource planning. I've traveled 20 countries around the world, but I'm deeply rooted here. This is the only place I can call home. This is the only place I'll live. 20 years ago, I could have lived anywhere in the world, but I chose to be here because I get angry. I've lived in practically every modern city comparable to AMAC in the world, but I can't stay because I will be a second, third class, fourth class citizen. So we have to come back home. And we're not leaving this place for anybody. We're going to be here to fight, to ensure that, you see, these things that we're talking about become realities in our lives because we can't go anywhere. This is home for us. Yeah. And to watch people, I mean, I just came from somewhere that you see people crying right here in the FCT. People's livelihood destroyed, homes completely shattered, without anybody talking to them to even to make sense of what they're going through. This is why I'm running for the chairmanship of AMAC, because it's one thing to destroy livelihood. It's one thing to remove people from their home. It's another thing to put a human face to it. This is what I'm saying, that regardless of what we do, it is not something that is hanging somewhere in the air. So we don't get religious about it where everything has a spiritual problem. These are human faces. These are our brothers and our sisters, you know. And so to talk about what needs to be done, there are too many things that can be done, even in terms of economic empowerment that will feed into the security issues that we're talking about. We have young, brilliant minds in AMAC who are jobless, who cannot find anything. We are here. I do business in AMAC. There are too many, multiple taxations. You pay for radio, for toilet, for kitchen, for all kinds of things, confusion everywhere. You don't even have a portal, a payment system that allows for the unification. And so I ask, how can you have somebody run the most important geographical space in Nigeria who does not even understand the narrative of our conversation? This is where the issues lie. This is what we need to deal with. Okay. We have to become transparent. We have to become accountable. We have to become real with ourselves. When you talk about security, if people, young people cannot buy bread, bread is what? 1,500, 2,000 naira. Like, are we truly, am I making these figures up? Like today, you want to pay money in AMAC, you don't even know who to pay. I run hospitality business. Over close to more than 10 different departments are coming with different, you don't even have a model to pay. And guess what? When you have touts harass you, touts have now become our security officials. This is what we're talking about. We need a leadership at the grassroots level that can unify a payment system that anybody, any market woman, any artisan can sit within. We live in the time where this is the most greatest digital tool in the world, where if you can transfer money, you can pay for your NEPA bill. Why can't you have a payment system that allows businesses to run? Okay. These are the basic things we're talking about. We're talking about movement, ease of doing business, food to eat. I mean, AMAC does not even have a farm. This belt is called the Middle Belt. It has one of the finest soil in Africa. My MSc thesis has to do with agriculture. I know what I can create here. All the energies you see around that are going into banditry and all of that, it is because the Englishman said that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be converted from one form or the other. All the people kidnapping are within the ages of 18 and 35. So you need somebody who understands this energy because it can only be converted. I can practically move thousands of young people, give them innovation, direct this energy. They can be in the farms, they can be in tech, they can be in ICT, they can be in agriculture, they can be in the tourism business, they can be in all kinds of innovation, in arts, in music, and this energy will churn out, especially where we are right now. Go to Kigali and see what is happening. Go to Paris. This is what we're talking about. When we do this, then you see what he's talking about. The conversation will move from the negativity to this ball of innovation and entertainment and governance. It's serious business. This is our life. It's not something to make
well
light
spoken, Dr.
of.
Moses, and you talking about the solutions to be preferred that it should be mainly related to human empowerment, and that is basically what is going to keep people from trying to steal, keep people from trying to go into crime, and possibly reduce the menace of terrorism and as well as the kidnapping currently ongoing in Nigeria. Let's wrap things up right now. And before we do that, let's get to make it a balanced conversation as
All right, thank you very much.
Honorable gets to say his goodbyes.
In our country, we've left too much for government to do. We all need to be involved in our own governance. And having said that, the preacher man, the teacher, the lecturer, every corner you are, we need to begin to preach change to ourselves. Like I mentioned, the issue of local government autonomy. It behoves on me and you, sir. So, as good governance advocates, to begin to push for that reform to come to a final conclusion. To encourage government to push, to have the will to see that that reform comes to pass. So that local government money allocation from the federation account goes straight to the local government and don't need to pass through the state governors. That is one of the advocacy we need to begin to push for in support of the government of President Tinubu.
That's going to be the game changer.
That will be part of the game changer, where development will now begin from the grassroots.
And the common man would.
And the common man will enjoy it better. And like I said, every hand must be on deck in fixing this country. Both the political class, the preacher man on the street, because some of these young people going into violence, some of them have been radicalized through preachings that are not, how do I put it, that are not humanistic, that teach you to hate. That need to be curbed. Those in the church, those in the mosques, who must begin to preach change. We must begin to preach that, look, we don't have any other country. This is our own country, and all hands must be on deck in fixing Nigeria.
It's a fantastic place to live it. The citizens have their own role to play, as well as, of course, the leaders. Thank you so much, gentlemen. And Honorable Agu, it was fantastic having you. And, of course, Dr. Moses Paul.
Yeah.
Great to have you.
Thank you very much.
And I must say that at the end of the day, lives have to be touched. People must be lifted. Hope must be given to the future. We must have a governance that goes beyond the slogans, beyond the political scoring. We must give hope to the people. Hope where our children can go to school. He said something. I am fixing schools right here in the FCT. I'm not in government. I'm fixing healthcare center. If you go to Tunga Madak, you have to revamp the entire primary health care center. When I got there and I found out that even in the maternity place where women give birth, there was no toilet. I had to go and fix it. So I agree with him. From the religious leaders to the political class to everybody, we must get on board. But after all is said and done, leadership, governance, nation building cannot be fixed until we go through politics. So I'm calling on
Thank
young
you.
people.
All right. Thank you.
I'm calling on
Looking at
everybody
you from
to.
this position, I know you have a lot to say, and we'll definitely get to invite you once again as well as Honorable. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
making this
Thank
a very
you.
insightful
It's our
section.
pleasure.
That's all we've got time for in politics. For more, still on the Weekend Show.